so we're gonna try it out and see what happens. Yeah, I brought this red velvet cake that I've already made, and it was frozen, and I thawed it a little bit, so it's not frozen solid. The shape that this roughly is. Now I'm just gonna start adding more cake up this way to create that, area. Put this in the freezer. Oh, you can't even see it anymore. It's gotten too tall. But I'm gonna put this in the freezer now, and then we'll come back and carve it. Okay, so I put the cake in the freezer for a couple minutes, and now I'm gonna give it a little bit more of a carve to get it like more of the shape of the shape. This biznatch. Now I'm gonna stick a skewer in this as a support because it's like leaning. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's a little nerve-wracking. So shove her in there, just to ensure there won't be any falling over. Hopefully. Alright, so while you guys were gone, I trimmed around all the excess cake board, and now we have it on a just 10-inch gold scallop board. And I'm gonna put on the layer frosting. I just put it in a piping bag because for like a shaped cake, that's kind of easier. Kind of, we'll see. last little bit got cut out, but I was pretty much done. I just put it in the freezer once again, but it's time for longer because you want the cake to be nice and hard before you put the fondant on it to get it as smooth as you can. And I just needed this fondant out on this cornstarch covered surface, and yeah, cornstarch, like not powdered sugar. Powdered sugar will dry it out like way too much. So don't do that. And a nice hard surface like a granite countertop is really good for rolling your fondant out on. I mean, if you find you're having trouble like rolling it out, it could just be the surface that you're doing it on. As you can see, I'm just like rotating it every once in a while so it doesn't like stick. And I'm rolling it out like from the center outwards. You don't want to like push the rolling pin down on the edges or it'll be uneven. You want it to be like nice and even all throughout. And to cover the cake with the fondant, I'm just gonna get it up underneath my rolling pin and then pop her on top there. I'm gonna go ahead and trim off the excess so it doesn't weigh down and tear the rest of the fondant. Out, you pretty much just like pick up the fondant and smooth it down and kind of pick it up as you go. Make it more, give it more like a shoe, we're gonna go on with this tool to give it that stitch look. You just wanna like gently press down all along the very edges of that fondant that we just placed. Okay, so now I've cut out these two Nike swooshes and I'm gonna put those on there now. My camera's dying again, so I really should have charged it, but I didn't. Okay, so I cut out another piece of fondant, and it's kind of like an upside down little ghost or something, but like the shadow that he had made. And I don't know why I'm like describing that, like that's gonna like help you actually do this, but okay, so I'm gonna use this little poker jigger to poke the holes. Edible marker, and I'm gonna just kind of stick it inside these holes and kind of make them a little darker. So I'm rolling out some fondant for the shoelaces, and just so you know, like you don't really want to have a super powdered surface while doing this because it'll actually make it harder to roll. You actually want it to be kind of like sticky in order to really get it to roll. So I rolled out some red fondant, and to give it the texture of like the bottom of that shoe, I'm just gonna like use some crumpled up tin foil and just press it into it. Tripod I'm using, I would like 100% not recommend it for like many reasons, but I've charged my camera and I've nearly finished this cake, but I did realize I kind of messed up. So see, I textured like the whole red part. I don't know if it's that noticeable on camera, but whole red part on this bottom, and it's only like textured on the front and like back, I think. So but I don't really have time to fix it. I have to go to work, but I'm gonna fill this piping bag with a little bit of buttercream. Oh, I also realized that I forgot to like indent it, so I'm gonna do that as well. But I'm gonna put a little bit of buttercream in this here piping bag, fitted with a little size 2 nozzle. I would use 1 honestly, but my 1 is, I don't know where it is right now, honestly, and I have to go to work. I'm just trying to do this real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with this other number 2 tip. This is a slightly bigger number 2 tip. The other one was a little bit smaller, like on average kind of a small number size 2 tip, but anyways, I'm gonna go in and write happy birthday on it. Thanks for watching.